the idea of having massive wealth has become somewhat commonplace, right? That there are people out there with massive wealth. That understanding, that shift is available to you. You have to decide if you believe it. And if you don't, you need to look at why you might not believe that and work on that piece first. Once you do, then you'll start to see the secret too. You'll start to see the secret to massive wealth isn't about how much you work, whether you work harder, whether you even work smarter. It really is about how much the capacity with which you have to hold the concept that money is limitless. Welcome back to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help women founders and entrepreneurs get the tools, resources, inspiration, and intuitive guidance to live a life of limitless purpose and prosperity. I'm your host, Leah Dunlap, and today I want to talk about something really important. It's something that many people feel frustrated by because they don't particularly understand it. And here's what it is. When people talk about the law of attraction and manifesting money, they often feel like they don't understand it or it doesn't work for them. And if that's you, I'm here to help. Okay? I'm going to tell you the truth that no one else has told you. Right? Here's the truth no one tells you about manifesting money using the law of attraction. The first thing you need to know is that you don't have to try to utilize the law of attraction. You already use it every day, all the time. It's a constant. And what that means is that you as a human being are already using the law of attraction. Because if you look around your life and look at your experiences, what you will notice if you pay attention is that what you experience outside of you is what you really believe about the world and what you deserve inside of you, right? That is truly the law of attraction. It is about the fact that once you have something inside of you, a vision, a desire, a belief, you will see an outpicturing of that in the world outside of you. So why does this matter when we talk about money? And why might you and others have felt so frustrated about receiving money and manifesting money when they tried to use the law of attraction? Okay, so the second thing you need to know is that money doesn't exist in some finite place, and it doesn't only have to come through you in a singular way, right? A big part of the challenge that people have when they think about money is they think about it as a finite resource. They think about money as a finite resource. And because they do, then they find themselves believing that it is hard to get. It is minimally accessible, right? It is only available to the few. And so there is already a disconnect in the way they believe about what money is and how they can receive it. And I love the book, and side note, shout out to the book, Happy Pocket Full of Money. Now, one of the great things that I agree with in that book is this concept that money doesn't actually show up in a direct path with what you believe you're manifesting. Let me explain a little bit about what that looks like. If you are trying to manifest, right, let's just use this as an example. If you're trying to manifest $1,000, you need to be in a state of receiving and believing that you deserve to receive the $1,000. Because if you do not believe that you deserve to receive the $1,000, that's step one, then no amount of activity outside of you will get that money to you. So that's the first thing to remember about that. The next thing to know is when you are thinking about the money, are you thinking about the fact, perhaps, that there's only so much to go around? I like to call this the, money is pie or life is pie theory. Pie, P-I-E, not P-I. And this is the belief that there's only so much to go around. That if a certain amount of people have a lot of money, that means a majority of people or the other people have less or have less access to money. Money is created all the time. Money is created literally out of thin air all the time. I have had that experience myself multiple times, which is why I definitely consider myself among the wealthy. And that's the other thing. You have to see yourself as deserving of great wealth, whatever great wealth looks like to you. And hopefully it's limitless. But if it's not, at least know that whatever your version of wealth is, you must see yourself as capable and worthy and deserving of that wealth. Because without that belief, it's literally like you're repelling every effort of the universe to provide you money. And what that might look like, and I've seen this before in some of my clients, is that you get a lot of money for kind of maybe some unexpected reason. Maybe you're really practicing on trying to be abundant minded, and you're hoping and you're doing hard work and you're doing everything you think you must be doing to receive wealth. And you get a large windfall, a certain amount of money. Let's even say $10,000. And it comes to you, but internally, you can't even imagine, right, that you would deserve to have just $10,000 show up for no reason. So you're already starting to have an internal dialogue, right? Which is where our minds create things, right? That's where the seat of the law of attraction lives, is inside that creative power in your own mind. And so it will start to look for strange ways for this money to literally disappear out of your life, to get rid of it. And that might look like your car breaking down, or your heater going on the fritz, or, some other thing all of a sudden also magically needs just that amount of money. Right? But here's the thing. Funnily enough, most people actually understand what I just said. They go, oh yeah, that happens to me. Oh yeah, I know somebody else that happened to. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. The exact amount of money that they just got was needed in this other way right away. And then they had nothing, or they were back to, ground zero. Now, that itself is a clue. That itself explains the whole process. Part of you already knows that's how it works. But interestingly enough, we end up causing ourselves to have these experiences over and over because we believe that's what we deserve. That's what is the way it is. That's how it is, right? It's hard to make money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Let's see. There's not enough to go around. And there's all kinds of other stories that some people have about what wealthy people are, what they're like, how they treat the world or don't treat the world. And so because of all of these layers of beliefs, the ability to receive wealth and money and cash is thwarted by you. Not by the process, not by the law of attraction, but by your own limited thoughts and beliefs around money and wealth and the ability to have it and use it and spend it and enjoy it. Ooh, did you get a chill on that one? Enjoy it. Is it okay for you to enjoy money? Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. It wasn't always this way for me. I grew up in a family where the idea of money was just completely riddled with negative beliefs. There was never enough. And when we spent it, it was hard spent, right? Like it was torturous to think about spending money on nice things. Grew up with a large family, lots of kids, so you can't have nice things because, kids can be messy and animals can be messy and things like that. So all of these concepts were gifted to me by my family, the adults in my family. And so there's always a choice, though. As you get older, you get to decide, what do you want to believe about money? What do you want to believe about the infinite possibility of wealth? Have you taken the time to consider if there are some underlying programs running in your brain that make having and and attaining and receiving and utilizing wealth a problem, something completely foreign to what your values are. Because until you do that work, no amount of, affirmation or journaling or repeating mantras is going to change your experience of having more money and having more wealth. Recently I had the opportunity to practice this, put this in practice. And as I was putting it into practice, I had to chuckle because there's a section of this that people also won't tell you, which is it's a way when we're stretched at this point in our lives and we're looking at money today and we're moving to a new level. We're also going to be given the opportunity to change and shift that belief, right? If you come up against some sort of negative old thought or doubt, it's an opportunity. That's the opportunity to expand. That's the opportunity knocking, right? To say, hey, we used to think this way about money. We used to think that you had to work 40 hours a week to make X amount of dollars. And then when you made X amount of dollars, you were successful. We know today that that's absolutely not true. That the ability for wealth to be moved around is a matter of ones and zeros now in some sort of computer program, algorithm, if you will, right? So we have already visited this in our experiences because many people now are waking up. The idea of having massive wealth has become somewhat commonplace, right? That there are people out there with massive wealth. That understanding, that shift is available to you. You have to decide if you believe it. And if you don't, you need to look at why you might not believe that and work on that piece first. Once you do, then you'll start to see the secret too. You'll start to see the secret to massive wealth isn't about how much you work, whether you work harder, whether you even work smarter. It really is about how much the capacity with which you have to hold the concept that money is limitless. That it is truly, endlessly limitless. And that you can tap into it whenever you choose just by changing what your thought patterns are around that amount of wealth. And by making sure that they're aligned with that level of wealth that you desire to attain. And then remembering, lastly, that number can be anything at all. That what you were looking for today in 5, 10, maybe 15 years will be nothing compared to what people are utilizing then, right? So it's all a matter of perspective, intention, alignment, and belief. And then this last piece is the one that I want to just leave you with. You have to be ready to receive it when it comes. When great wealth is visited upon you, you have to be able to open the doors and welcome it inside. Happily, joyfully, with expectance. But of course, my $1 million payday has come. Absolutely. I believed that I was always going to have more than enough every month to create and build and grow my life and my business just like I wanted to. And that energy and that conviction is the thing they won't tell you about. They'll hide it. They'll say the law of attraction will allow you to create great wealth. And the law of attraction will allow you to create great wealth. It will allow you to create anything you'd like, anything you believe, and absolutely only what you really believe you deserve to create. So I'm here to share with you today that you have the capacity to create massive amounts of wealth. And as a woman founder and an entrepreneur, I know that when you get that massive amount of wealth, the thing you are more likely to do than anyone else is to get out there and give it back, to share it with your fellow founders, with your family, with your friends, to give it back to places that you've been served through tithing or donations. So I hope that today you'll have found your own version of shift in this podcast. And you've maybe got some new ideas about how you can actually embrace that well. Because the world is better for it when you have happy, full pockets of money. I'm your host, Leah Dunlap. This is the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help women founders and entrepreneurs live a limitless life of purpose and prosperity. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Remember to subscribe and be notified the next time we go live.